Could British overseas territories like the BVI see Labour Party leader in the United Kingdom Ed Miliband as a threat to their economic survival should he become the next UK Prime Minister? Milliband has issued an ultimatum saying Bermuda, Jersey and other British tax havens would have 6 months to open their books or face international blacklisting if Labour Party wins the general election. Milliband says more than 18 months have passed since UK Prime Minister David Cameron promised to shine a light on the tax havens in UK overseas territories and Crown dependencies, and their affairs are still shrouded in darkness.
Billions of pounds are being lost in tax avoidance. Today we're serving notice on tax havens linked to Britain that they must open their books within 6 months of a Labour government or face international action. David Cameron has failed on tax avoidance. A Labour government will act.
Officials in British overseas territories have spoken out against Milliband's threat. One comment coming out of the Cayman Islands states that he is hopelessly out of touch. And according to Sky News in the UK, it is not only the British overseas territories that are unhappy with Milliband's proposals. The British government also insists that they are unworkable.
Essentially, he's asking the likes of Bermuda and the Cayman Islands to do things that the likes of Germany, France and the US have not agreed to. And so the idea that the OECD is going to put these countries onto a blacklist, I'm afraid, is completely unrealistic.
Meanwhile, head of the International Private Banking and Financial Regulation Practice, Richard Hayes, says the misperception that financial centers are used to hide wealth needs correcting. He encouraged the BVI to show that financial centers benefit economies like the UK.
It may be vexing that you have to explain and defend your business model, but bear in mind that you have in this island one of the highest per capita incomes in the world. And you wind the clock back 30 years ago with fishing, farming, tourism, etc. It was quite a different story. The world wants to know why you are successful, why you facilitate 4% of FDI in the world. They're curious about this. And in my view, my principal message is it's incumbent on industry to explain to the world why their prosperity is dependent on the activity that you carry on here. This changes the climate for dialogue. When you get to people and you explain that they could damage their own economic interests by foolish policy that impairs your ability to facilitate trade, growth, jobs in their home jurisdiction, pensions growth, when they begin to understand that their policies may adversely impact on their domestic economy in the United Kingdom and the United States, that's a much more powerful agent than saying to them, don't do this, it's not fair to us.
British overseas territories have rejected the proposals to publish a register of companies showing who owns and controls every company, a request that was made by David Cameron when he held talks with British overseas territories in Downing Street ahead of the G8 summit in 2013. The territories insisted that they are already transparent.